Donnie and Dolly. The team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
Monday, and all of our guests today, including Ian Furness, standing by, brought to you by Passat Motors. This November, say no. Say no to the GST when purchasing a new-to-you vehicle from Passat Motors. Learn more at PassatMotors.com. Just before we get to Ian Furness, I'm getting a lot of heat for somehow finding a way to criticize Elias Pettersson, even though it's JT Miller. Having issues with the Canucks head coach right now, Rick Tocchet. This is from Dave from Delaney's. OK, Tyron Langley inbox. You know, benching JT will get a response. Benching Pettersson won't have the same response. That's from Dave. The voice of reason there.
Good guy, Dave.
We're not benching Ian Furness. He joins us now, KGR Sports Radio. We thought about it, but he joins us now, KGR Sports Radio and the Kraken Hockey Network. How are you, sir?
How are you, Donnie? You sound a little under the weather.
I am. But, you know, like a good, tough Canadian kid.
Yep.
I'm sucking it up and doing the show.
I'm with you. I'm the same. I'm in the same boat today. But you know, it's a Monday. You got to get going. Yeah, a little bit of a cold here. It's all right. You know, we're okay. Battle through. How do you guys survive? Did you really have a hockey game after the Grey Cup in the same area yesterday?
Well, not yet. Yes, we did. And as a matter of fact, there was an NHL game, Canucks and Blackhawks, the night before. You guys have that all the time, don't you?
Well, we don't have like the Super Bowl and then a hockey game next door same day. No, we haven't done that yet. That seems a little out of the ordinary, but you know, you guys are here. Good for you. Well done.
Well, okay, but Ian, you have to remember that it could have been worse. Originally, that Predators Canucks game was around. What was it, 5 o'clock start?
5 o'clock.
It was going to be right at the exact same time as the Grey, or around the same time as the Grey Cup. So they got that part figured out.
No, you got big-time cities do big-time things, man. That's Vancouver. Let's go.
Yeah, it was actually a really good – the Grey Cup was outstanding. They did a great job. Yeah. Seahawks yesterday, 2017 over the 49ers. I thought the defense was a problem with the Seahawks, Ian.
Well, it helps when their best pass rusher gets hurt in the second half. That certainly made a difference when Bosa went out. But, you know, I mean, in Seattle's defense, getting Abe Lucas back at right tackle helped, and now we're all kind of wondering why Oluwatimi wasn't starting at center all year. And said they had, you know, Williams in there who retired abruptly last week, and Olu looked like he handled himself more than adequately and had a pretty good game. They still couldn't run the ball, but Gino willed them to a win. And you know, first time they beat those guys in 6 games down there, including a playoff game. First time Gino's beat those guys. So it was a big win on a lot of levels. I think it for Gino, it was vindication. I think for the team, it keeps them in the playoff race. So yeah, it was an enormous day yesterday.
Okay, you mentioned Connor Williams retiring mid-season. I don't know if you can shed any light on the reasons why, but that was pretty unusual.
Very unusual. They wouldn't say anything, and I don't expect them to. I kind of get the feeling, you know, in that sport, and maybe even to a certain extent that position, it sometimes you just can't do it. And I'm guessing that's what it was with him. Coming off a big ACL injury the year before, he wasn't playing well, really, and struggling with the little things, you know, like snapping. Yeah. Like that's something that, you know, there's something not right there, and so he packed it in, and they respected his decision. They haven't said anything else, you know, in addition to that. So we'll probably never know, but they move on.
You know, Ian, every time we talk to you about the Kraken, they're either on a 4-game winning streak or a 4-game losing streak. It's one or the other. And last night, the Rangers beat them. Their 4-game winning streak is over. But that's the 4th time they've been shut out this year. What's going on there?
Well, 3 of the 4 times are in the second half of a back-to-back. If you want to, you know, if you're a wagering man up there with what you got, I think I hear your sponsors all the time, right? So if they're playing a back-to-back, then what you've got to do is you got to figure out that you know, they're going to get shut out. So guys, 30% of their meetings this year, or of their losses this season, have come on the second half of a back-to-back, and they've been shut out 2-0 in all 3 of those games. Wow. Like it's a remarkable stat. So they're kind of in a mode right now where they play those second games, and for whatever reason they can't get going offensively. And listen, Quick was fantastic. He was really good. Made a couple saves early on a couple redirects, and Burakovsky, who can't buy a goal. I mean, you guys have scored as many as he has this season.
Yeah.
He got set up in front in the slot, one timer. All he's got. I mean, he missed the net. Had the and Quick was going one way to the other. He had him beat, missed the net, and I think that would have changed things. Schwartz had a chance on a wraparound, couldn't elevate the puck, had the whole top half to shoot at. So they had chances, but it is crazy. In fact, going back to last season, I think it's the last 5 back-to-backs that they've played. They've been shut out now, 4 times, 5 times, and average less than a goal a game. So, yeah, it's the back-to-backs are hurting these guys.
You know who's struggling right now is Shane Wright, healthy scratch last night, 8 minutes the game before. I think he's gone 13 games without a point. Just some tough love there last night, Ian, the healthy scratch.
Yeah, well, I need to start doing a better job of looking at your guys' stats and seeing who's struggling, like EP40 or whatever else, right? Like, just throwing that out at us. Like,
hey, it is what it is.
It is what it is. He is struggling. I mean, he's not the only guy. They've got their so-called fourth line, which isn't a fourth line, the Yanni Gord, Brandon Tanev, Ty Karche line, and then the top line. Eberle got hurt on Thursday, so he hasn't played the last 2 games, but normally Eberle, McCann, Beniers, those 2 lines are great. The defense leads the league in goals from the blue line. They've got 12 now, I think it is. So, but the middle 2 lines have just not contributed enough, and that would include, Shane Wright's line and whatever else they've got mixed in there. I mean, with Eberle and Vince Dunn still out there, a little bit hurting. That's 2, it's a top 6 forward and a top pair defenseman, so but Shane is struggling, like there's no doubt. And you know what's weird, guys? You watch him; he never looks out of place. He never looks over his skis. He just can't get it going right now, and not like he's making a ton of mistakes or anything like that. He's just kind of in one of those ruts, and we tend to forget he's 20 years old. Yeah, like he could remember this with Shane Wright. He could still be playing in the Ontario Hockey League.
Yep. Absolutely.
You're criticizing us for criticizing Shane Wright. 2 minutes ago, you were talking about the timing of our sporting events here in Vancouver.
Yeah.
No, that was actually a compliment to that, Donnie. That was a compliment. I was amazed, though. I was like, because I see the Grey Cups going on. I see, Farhan and your old buddy, the Moj, and those guys are all posting at all the parties and all the festivities are going to and all the food they're eating. And I'm like, wow, a big celebration in Vancouver this weekend. Huge event. That's awesome. I heard every time you guys put that on, I know it's great. And then, wait, I'm looking at the scores last night because Nashville's here on Wednesday. We're doing our post-game show on TV. And I'm like, oh, look at this. Nashville's playing in Vancouver. Isn't the Grey Cup going on? Are they celebrating what's going on? I think that's just, what Vancouver basically would be the New York of Canada. That's how big you guys are. Huge, massive. Only a handful of cities could handle that, and you guys are one of them.
Toronto might disagree.
I don't know where that is. Did you guys get invited to all those parties those guys went to, or what?
I did. Rick and Ryan didn't go to anything.
No, I got invited. Donnie, Ryan.
Yeah, but I showed up.
I'm getting old, Ian. I'm just packing it in, staying at home. 20 years ago, I was at all these parties, and I was living it up till 3, 4 in the morning. Can't do it anymore.
Well, they've got a thing called Uber now, and they got Crown Royal probably for free. I don't know what your problem was. It's a once, it's not like the Grey Cup's there every year. It's maybe every other year, but it's not like it's there every year. Rick. Come on.
Too old. Getting old.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. I keep thinking I'm going to come up there and hang out with you guys, but if you're going to bed at 8 o'clock, I can't do that, man. I can't do that.
How many Ranger fans showed up last night?
There are a lot.
Not exactly that amount, but...
there were a lot. I was actually walking on the catwalk to get a coffee right at the start of the third period when they scored their second goal. And I thought for a second Seattle scored because all the fans, but they were all on the upper deck. So they were all on the upper deck. They were, but right where I was at, there was a whole bunch. All right. Oh, whoa, what the heck? I see a bunch of guys in blue shirts jumping around. But remember, in all seriousness, remember, Seattle's a better hockey town than we're not brand new to the sport. We had Sam Rose on our pregame show yesterday. He pointed out, it's between the Totems and the Thunderbirds and all that for forever, we've got a lot of fans here. We've got a lot of other fans that have come here and stuff like that. So when other teams come, that like especially an original six team, you're going to have fans
Yep.
from those teams here. So, but yeah, there was a handful. It wasn't as bad as I'm trying to think who was really bad. There was
Vancouver,
was Detroit maybe.
Yeah,
No,
Detroit, yeah.
no, yeah, I think it was Detroit. Was what kind of felt like they came in and tried to run the show one time, like last year or 2 years.
Yeah, that happens.
But,
hey, Ian, we got to let you go, but it's good to know that the host of the Kraken broadcast is really paying attention during the game, getting a coffee in the media lounge.
Well,
That's good to know.
the problem is that there was a line. Like I just needed a coffee. Like I just traveled back from Spokane. I needed a coffee to start the period.
Okay.
Our intermission went a little longer. We had to carry those guys a little bit, and so it was like a 2-minute break, and I didn't miss anything.
You said you missed the goal.
I saw the replay. Well, what? Who cares? I saw it on a replay.
Yeah.
I'm not the analyst. I'm not the analyst. I just tee up the analysts. Like I go back and I go to the media site. There's the goal. Oh, by the way, bad one by Groovy. I'm like, oh, whoa, that's a bad one. But yeah. Hey, if that's the only goal I miss all year and it's to get a coffee, I think I could be forgiven.
Yeah, your excuse. As long as you show up in this show every week, we'll excuse
That's all
you.
we care about.
Yeah.
We love you.
There'll be a few hundred goals scored both ways, guys. I might miss one or two along the way. I'm not calling the game. I'm just talking about the game between periods and post game. So not that big of a deal. My goodness. Stop judging me. It's a Monday.
We judge everybody. Ian, thanks for this. Next week.
See you, boys. All right.